The next morning, as the sun rose over the village, Nguvu and Menji walked to the edge of the forest. Nguvu needed to return to his home, but he promised to visit the village often. "Remember, Menji," Nguvu said, "if you ever need me, just call out my name, and I will come." Menji nodded. "I will never forget. Nguvu, you are our hero." With that, Nguvu returned to the forest, and Mengi went back to her village. She knew that life in Ngoma would be different now. The villagers had seen the true nature of Nguvu, and their hearts were filled with respect and gratitude. Days turned into weeks, and life in Ngoma returned to normal. The villagers no longer feared the forest, and they often visited Nguvu, bringing him fresh food and sharing stories. The bond between Nguvu and the villagers grew stronger with each passing day. One sunny afternoon, a stranger arrived in the village. He was a tall man with a long beard and a cloak that flowed in the wind. His eyes were sharp and piercing, and he carried a staff carved with strange symbols. The villagers watched him with curiosity and a hint of suspicion. The stranger approached Mama Kija, who was sitting under the baobab tree. "Greetings," he said in a deep voice. "My name is Zuberi. I have traveled far and wide, and I have heard tales of a giant who lives in these forests." Mama Kija nodded. "Yes, his name is Nuvu, and he is our friend and protector." "What brings you to our village, Zuberi?" Zuberi smiled, but there was something unsettling about his expression. "I seek knowledge and wisdom," he said. "I have heard that this giant possesses great strength and kindness. I wish to meet him." The villagers exchanged uneasy glances. Mengi, who was nearby, felt a strange sensation in her heart. She didn't trust Zuberi, but she knew she couldn't refuse him. "I will take you to Nguvu," she said. "But remember, he is our friend. We will not tolerate any harm coming to him." Zuberi nodded. "I understand. I only wish to speak with him." Mengi led Zuberi through the forest to Nguvu's home. Nguvu greeted them warmly, though he too felt a sense of unease. "Welcome, Zuberi," Nguvu said. "What brings you here?" Zuberi bowed slightly. "I have heard of your great deeds. Nguvu, I wish to learn from you and understand the source of your strength." Nguvu smiled modestly. "My strength comes from my heart and my desire to protect those I care about. There is no secret to it." Zuberi listened carefully, his eyes never leaving Nguvu. "I see. Your kindness and strength are indeed remarkable. But tell me, have you always been this way? Have you never felt anger or hatred?" Nguvu frowned slightly. "We all feel anger at times, but it is important to control it and not let it guide our actions." Zuberi nodded, but his eyes seemed to gleam with a hidden intent. "Thank you, Nguvu. I have learned much from you today. I will take my leave now." As Zuberi left, Mengi felt a chill run down her spine. She couldn't shake the feeling that Zuberi was hiding something. She decided to keep a close watch on him, knowing that the safety of the village and Nguvu depended on it. Zuberi stayed in Ngoma, mingling with the villagers and learning their ways. He was charming and friendly, but Mengi couldn't shake her suspicion. She noticed that he often asked questions about Nguvu, trying to learn as much as he could about the giant's strengths and weaknesses. One evening, Mengi overheard a conversation between Zuberi and a group of villagers. "Nguvu is indeed powerful," Zuberi said, "but what if one day he turns against you? What if his strength becomes a danger to the village?" The villagers murmured among themselves, but one of them spoke up. "Nguvu would never harm us. He has proven his loyalty and kindness time and time again." Zuberi nodded thoughtfully. "Perhaps. But it is always wise to be prepared. Strength can be a double-edged sword." Mengi felt a surge of anger. She knew Zuberi was trying to plant seeds of doubt in the villagers' minds. She decided to confront him. "Zuberi," Mengi said, stepping forward.
"Why do you speak this way about Nguvu? He has done nothing but protect and help us."
Zuberi turned to Mengi, his eyes cold. "I only wish to ensure the safety of the village, Mengi. It is my duty as a traveler and seeker of wisdom." Mengi shook her head.
"No, you are trying to make us doubt Nguvu. I won't let you do that."
Zuberi's smile was thin and unkind. "We shall see, Mengi, we shall see." Mengi's heart was heavy with worry. She knew she had to warn Nguvu. She ran to the forest and found him tending to his garden. "Nguvu, I am worried about Zuberi," she said. "He is trying to turn the villagers against you." Nguvu looked concerned. "I have sensed something strange about him too, Mengi. We must be careful." Days passed, and Mengi kept a close watch on Zuberi. She noticed that he often disappeared into the forest, returning with strange herbs and muttering to himself. She decided to follow him one night. Under the cover of darkness, Mengi trailed Zuberi into the forest. She watched as he gathered herbs and chanted strange incantations. She realized that Zuberi was a sorcerer, and he was preparing a dark spell. Mengi's heart raced. She knew she had to stop him. Quietly, she crept closer and listened to his muttering. "With this spell, I will weaken Nguvu," Zuberi whispered. "I will turn the villagers against him, and then I will take control." Mengi felt a surge of anger and determination. She knew she had to warn Nguvu and the village. She hurried back to Nguvu's home and told him everything she had heard. Nguvu's face darkened. "This is serious. Mengi, we must prepare. Zuberi's magic is dangerous." Mengi nodded.
"We will stop him. Nguvu, together, we can protect the village."
"We must stand together," Nguvu said. "Zuberi's magic is powerful, but our unity and strength are greater. We will protect our village and each other." The villagers nodded, their fear turning into determination. They began to prepare for the battle, gathering stones, sticks, and anything they could use to defend themselves. Nguvu showed them how to build strong barricades and set traps to slow down Zuberi's approach. Mengi, who had always been brave, felt a new sense of responsibility. She knew that she had to lead the villagers and keep their spirits high. "We will not let Zuberi win," she said. "We will fight for our village and our friends." As night fell, the villagers gathered in the center of Ngoma, ready to face whatever came their way. The air was thick with tension, and the dark clouds that had appeared when Zuberi arrived seemed to grow darker. Suddenly, a loud roar echoed through the village. Zuberi appeared, his eyes glowing with a sinister light. "You cannot stop me," he shouted. "I will take control of this village, and Nguvu will be powerless." Nguvu stepped forward, his towering figure casting a protective shadow over the villagers. "You will not harm these people, Zuberi," Nguvu declared, his voice strong and unwavering. "We stand united against you." Zuberi laughed, a cruel, echoing sound. "We shall see, giant," he sneered. With a wave of his staff, he conjured a swirling vortex of dark energy that crackled with ominous power. The villagers held their ground, fear and determination mingling in their hearts. Nguvu braced himself, using his massive arms to shield the villagers. The spells struck him with immense force, but Nguvu stood firm, refusing to back down. "I will protect my friends," he growled through gritted teeth. The villagers, inspired by Nguvu's bravery, began to fight back. They hurled stones and sticks at Zuberi, who deflected them with his dark magic. The air was filled with the sounds of battle, the clash of magic, the shouts of the villagers, and the roars of Nguvu and Zuberi. Mengi knew they needed a plan to defeat Zuberi. She remembered the secret pond in Nguvu's garden, where the clearest water sparkled under the sun. It was said to have magical properties. Mengi and the villagers ran through the forest, dodging Zuberi's attacks. When they reached the secret pond, Mengi quickly explained her plan. "The water in this pond has magical properties," she said. "If we can lure Zuberi into the water, it might weaken his magic." Nguvu nodded. "I will distract him," he said. "Get ready to push him into the pond." With a roar, Nguvu charged at Zuberi, using all his strength to keep the dark sorcerer focused on him. The villagers gathered around the pond, ready to spring into action. As Nguvu and Zuberi clashed, the villagers saw their chance. They rushed forward, pushing Zuberi towards the water. Nguvu, exhausted but determined, stood by the edge of the pond. "It is over, Zuberi," he said. "You will not harm this village again." With a final scream, Zuberi was engulfed by the water, his dark magic completely vanquished. The villagers cheered, their hearts filled with relief. and joy they had faced the darkness and emerged victorious. Thanks to the bravery of Nguvu and Mengi, with Zuberi defeated, the dark clouds that had hung over Ngoma began to clear. The sun broke through, bathing the village in warm, golden light. The villagers hugged each other, celebrating their hard-won victory. Nguvu, though tired from the battle, felt a deep sense of satisfaction. He had protected the village he had come to love, and they had proven their strength and unity. Menji stood beside him, her eyes shining with pride. "We did it. Nguvu," she said, "we protected our home." The villagers gathered around Nguvu and Mengi, offering their heartfelt thanks. Mama Kija stepped forward, her eyes filled with gratitude. "Nguvu, you have shown us the true meaning of courage and kindness," she said. "You are not just our protector, you are our family." Nguvu smiled, his heart full. "Thank you, Mama Kija. I am honored to be part of your village." Over the next few days, the villagers worked together to repair the damage caused by the battle. They rebuilt their homes, planted new crops, and restored the peace and beauty of Ngoma. Nguvu helped wherever he could, his strength and gentle nature making him a beloved figure in the village. Menji, who had played a crucial role in uncovering Zuberi's plan and rallying the villagers, was hailed as a hero. The children of the village looked up to her, inspired by her bravery and determination. One evening, as the villagers gathered for a feast to celebrate their victory, Mengi stood up to speak. "We have faced great challenges," she said, "but we overcame them because we stood together. Nguvu showed us that true strength comes from the heart, and we must always remember that." The villagers cheered, raising their cups in a toast to Nguvu and Menji. They shouted, "Our heroes." Nguvu, feeling a warmth he had not known for years, looked around at the smiling faces of the villagers. He knew that this was where he belonged, among friends who had come to understand and appreciate him. As time passed, the bond between Nguvu and the villagers grew even stronger. Nguvu became a central figure in the village, always ready to lend a helping hand or share a story. The children adored him, often gathering around to hear tales of his adventures in the forest. Mengi continued to thrive, her bravery and wisdom making her a respected leader among the villagers. She and Nguvu often worked together on projects to improve the village, from building new homes to planting gardens and creating safe paths through the forest. The once feared giant and the villagers of Ngoma had formed a beautiful, harmonious community. The stories about Nguvu had changed from tales of fear to legends of heroism and kindness. The forest, once seen as a place of danger, was now a source of wonder and resources for the villagers. One day, as Mengi and Nguvu were walking through the forest, they came across a group of travelers who had lost their way. The travelers looked weary and frightened. "Can you help us?" one of them asked. "We have been wandering for days and are in need of food and rest." Nguvu smiled gently. "Of course," he said. "Come with us to Ngoma, we will take care of you." The travelers followed Menji and Nguvu back to the village, where they were welcomed with open arms. The villagers provided them with food, water, and a place to rest. The travelers were amazed by the kindness and generosity they found in Ngoma. "We have heard tales of a wicked giant in these forests," one of the travelers said to Nguvu, "but you are nothing like the stories." Nguvu laughed. "Those tales are old and false. Here we believe in kindness and helping one another." The travelers stayed in Ngoma for several days, experiencing the warmth and hospitality of the village. When they finally left, they promised to spread the true story of Nguvu and the villagers of Ngoma. One day, as Mengi and Nguvu sat by the secret pond, they talked about the future. "We have come so far." "Nguvu," Mengi said, "our village is a place of peace and friendship. I am so grateful for everything we have achieved." Nguvu nodded, his eyes filled with warmth. "We have done this together, Mengi. Your bravery and determination made all the difference. You believed in me when no one else did." Mengi smiled, "and you showed us the true meaning of strength and kindness. We will always be grateful for your friendship and protection." As they sat by the pond, they heard the laughter of children playing nearby. The village was alive with joy and hope, a reflection of the journey they had taken together. Nguvu looked at Mengi, his heart full. "We are forever friends, Mengi," he said, "no matter what the future holds." "We will always have each other in our village," Mengi nodded, feeling a deep sense of contentment. Yes, Nguvu forever friends. And so, the story of Nguvu, the gentle. Thanks for watching. Please like this video, share and drop your comments.